So we're diving into the limits of AI, specifically these large language models like ChatGPT that we're seeing everywhere these days. And get this, Apple just released some research that's got everyone talking. It suggests that these AI models might not be as smart as we think.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. You see, what's got people's attention is that Apple, now that they're trying to break into the AI world themselves, well, they're challenging this whole idea of AI intelligence.
Hold on, Apple's doing AI research now.
They are, and their research paper really digs deep into what these AI models can and can't do, especially when it comes to actual logical reasoning.
Okay, so instead of just seeing if AI can write poems or code a website, this research is looking at whether it can actually, think logically.
Exactly. Because while these large language models, or LLMs as they're called, they're amazing at sounding like humans, Apple's research is saying, well, hold on, they struggle with even basic logic problems.
Wow, seriously. So are they saying that AI isn't really thinking at all, just good at, like, pattern matching?
That's what their research suggests, yeah. They've even designed this new benchmark, they call it GSM symbolic, and it's essentially a reasoning test for AI.
Okay, so how do they even test something like that?
Well, imagine a test where you're trying to see if AI can tell what's important and what's just extra information, irrelevant details. That's what Apple's GSM New Op test is all about.
All right, so how does it work? Give me an example.
Okay, picture this. It's called the kiwi problem. Here's how it goes. Oliver picks 44 kiwis on Friday. Then he picks 58 kiwis on Saturday. On Sunday, he picks double the number of kiwis he did on Friday.
Yeah.
Simple enough, right?
Yeah, just adding and multiplying. I think I can handle that.
Right, but here's the catch. They throw in this little curveball. Of the kiwis picked on Sunday, 5 of them were a bit smaller than average. Now, that shouldn't change how many kiwis Oliver picked in total, right?
No, of course not. It's
Uh,
just like saying some of the kiwis were green or something doesn't change the total number.
You'd think so, right? But some major LLMs, like OpenAI's and even Meta's Llama 3.8b, they fell for it. They actually subtracted those 5 smaller kiwis.
You're kidding. They got tricked by a few small kiwis. That's kind of funny, but also a little unnerving, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, if AI can be fooled by something so simple, what happens when it's something more complex? So we just saw how easily AI can get tripped up by a pretty basic trick. Now, I want to step back and think about what this means for the future of AI, the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And I think this research really highlights this key difference between, let's call it pattern matching, which LMs are really good at, and actual reasoning, where they seem to fall short. It's kind of like imagine those friends who can, like, quote an entire movie from memory.
Oh, I know the type.
Right. But then you ask them to explain the plot, why characters made certain choices, and they're lost.
Okay, I get it. They can memorize but not really understand. So how does this all connect back to Apple's research?
Well, what Apple is saying is maybe these LLMs, they're not really thinking the way humans do. They're more like really, really good pattern matching machines.
Interesting.
So they see these patterns in the words of the Kiwi problem, and they try to apply some math based on those patterns, even if it doesn't actually make sense logically.
So it's impressive in a way because they can process so much information and find these complex patterns, but also kind of scary because it's like, do they actually understand what they're doing?
That's the big question, right? And that's why this research is causing such a stir. It makes us wonder, are we getting a little carried away? Are we putting too much trust in these systems that might not be as intelligent as we think they are?
Okay, but let's be fair here. AI models are getting better all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it possible that this is just a temporary thing, a bump in the road? Maybe they'll figure out this whole reasoning thing eventually.
It's true. The field is moving incredibly fast, but that's exactly why this research matters so much. It's like a reality check. We need to be careful about getting ahead of ourselves with all the hype. And even if LLMs do get better at reasoning, knowing their limits now is crucial for building AI we can actually rely on.
It's like I'd ride in a self-driving car, but only if it's still in the testing phase. I wouldn't want to take it on a cross-country road trip just yet.
Exactly. We got to be aware of those limitations, especially with the AI becoming more common in important stuff like healthcare, finance, even the justice system.
Okay, that's a little unnerving when you put it like that. So if we are going to let AI take the wheel, even a little bit, how do we know for sure that it's actually ready?
Well, that's where this idea of the illusion of intelligence comes in, which Apple talks about in their paper. It's like we're so blown away by AI writing like a human, writing code, creating art, that maybe we're missing something really important. What if it doesn't actually know what it's doing?
Wait, so even though it can do all these impressive things, There's no guarantee it actually understands what it's doing. It's just mimicking, like you said.
That's the key point. You can teach a parrot to say Emancia, but it doesn't mean the parrot understands physics. AI might be doing the same thing. It can create all this amazing stuff, but it might not truly grasp those underlying concepts.
So it's like we're giving AI this driving test,
Yeah.
right? And it's passing the written part, no problem, even parallel parks like a pro. But then we realize, oh, it doesn't actually get the rules of the road. Like, what do you do at a four-way stop?
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. And it shows how risky it could be to depend on AI too much without really knowing what it can't do. We can't just be wowed by the cool stuff it creates. We got to make sure it actually understands what it's doing.
Absolutely. So where does Apple fit into all of this? Are they saying they've figured out this whole true AI reasoning thing?
Well, they haven't said that they have all the answers or anything, but this research definitely shows they're going about it differently. While other companies are trying to outdo each other with bigger and better LLMs, Apple seems to be focusing on a stronger foundation for AI, one that prioritizes, like we were saying, real understanding, not just imitation.
That makes sense. It's kind of their thing, right?
Yay.
Apple's always been about doing things carefully and getting them right.
Exactly. And this research, it could be a sign that something big is coming from them, something that could change everything we thought we knew about what AI can do.
Now, that's exciting. But what does all this mean for someone like me, or anyone really, who's interested in AI, but also a bit cautious about the downsides?
It means you're on the right track. Being informed is so important now, understanding both what's possible and what the risks are. Don't be afraid to question the hype, really dig deeper and demand to know what's really going on.
And maybe, just maybe, research like this will push the whole field of AI in a better direction, towards AI that's not just powerful, but actually intelligent in the truest sense.
That's what we're all hoping for, right? And as you keep learning about AI, keep this Apple research in mind. It reminds us that true intelligence is more than just copying patterns. It needs understanding, critical thinking, really grasping the world around us.
I think that's a great point to wrap up on. For everyone listening, remember, the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's up to all of us to shape it in a responsible way.